It's Thursday afternoon. You've had lunch, you're tired, you're bored. What are you going to do? Are you going to sleep, watch YouTube, or the third option? Let's discuss. Welcome to Hyper Academy. My name is Ryan Fields. It's a ruthless world out there. How do you step up and stand out? You do it by getting your mind right, and that's what Hyper Academy is here to explore. Thanks for joining me today. As a thank you and as a appreciation for you joining me on this All Access show today, I wanted to provide you with a gift. This gift is a tool that will allow you to be able to perform better during stressful situations. So when you are getting ready to give a speech, when you're feeling like you're a little bit anxious about doing something, there's a tool, there's a technique that you can utilize to immediately reduce your pulse, reduce your blood pressure, and make yourself more calm and have a better ability to perform in the moment. This is a one-page guide, checklist, simple activities to follow. Once you've read the guide, it will take you 3 steps in 10 seconds, and you'll be able to improve upon your ability to perform in the moment when stress and everything is on the line. You can get it by going to my website, hyperacademy.mykajabi.com/10 seconds. hyperacademy.mykajabi.com/10 seconds, and you can get that guide right there for you. Again, completely free of charge. So let's talk about boredom. Boredom at work and how you can be able to harness the opportunities of boredom to be able to improve on things with either in your work or in your personal or professional life. A lot of times what we do when we're bored is we go through a mindless scrolling and zooming opportunity, right? We pull out our phone, we open up Twitter, we open up Facebook, we open up YouTube, and we just follow through and scroll, and we mindlessly build in the time that is going between meetings or between the boredom that you have in place. That's not necessarily a bad thing all the time, but there are opportunities that you can take to be able to take advantage of that time and really improve upon it, and still give your brain the dopamine that it's hoping for by doing some of that scrolling and going through Twitter, things like that, right? So the way I see it, there's about 3 different options that you can take when you are in a position tomorrow at work where you are bored. The 3 things that you can do are you can zone out, which we'll talk about, you can get productive, or you can get exercise going, whether it's in your mind or physical. So let's talk a little bit more about those specific 3 steps. Okay, so it's Thursday afternoon. You've got about an hour between meetings and you're bored. You could take a nap. There's YouTube that you can scroll, like we talked about. You could try to get those dopamine hits throughout that hour time, but that's wasting a bit of time too, right? So the way I see it, there's 3 things that you can do. And let's talk about all 3 of them in detail. The first of the 3 is zoning out. You heard me right, zoning out. Just actually plan and schedule the time to zone out and watch YouTube, right? And that's perfectly fine to do, but if you purposely and mindfully allow yourself to say, okay, I've got time between this meeting, I don't feel like doing anything outside of this time other than watching some YouTube, right? Watching some Hyper Academy on YouTube. Schedule that time, and then you don't have to feel guilty about it. You can purposely go zone out and have that time to do what you want. It's perfectly okay to utilize those dopamine hit opportunities through social media and through YouTube and through Facebook and everything else while you have it scheduled in place. The key to zoning out is to not mindlessly do it. You want to be focused on it, schedule that time, and have it on purpose. And that way, after your time has come up, say it's 30 minutes or even if it's an hour, okay, I've got my hit for the afternoon. Let's go ahead and place that and move back forward with my work for the day. So that's definitely something that will be beneficial. You won't get sucked into it as much, but there are other opportunities and alternative as well. The second option would be to get more productive. Now, there's a lot of things that you can do during this hour break that you have where you are bored to help move yourself forward both personally and professionally. So let's talk about some of the opportunities of how you can be more productive during that hour. One of them is something that I really try to focus and follow through with on a daily basis, which is setting up my getting things done method of access and task tracking and execution. So if you've ever read the book by David Allen, Getting Things Done, it's basically the original organization productivity tool book that came out. I highly recommend it. I'll put a link in the description for you. It's a fantastic tool to be able to get yourself organized. And there's a lot of different steps and capabilities within the GTD, Getting Things Done method, that you can be doing during this hour to really get yourself ahead of the game for the next action or activity or thing that you need to do. So there's a couple of different things, and basically the way that the GTD method is set up is you have a bunch of different folders and in trays that you're organizing. This can be both physical or digital. I use Trello personally when I'm organizing all this across, but here's just a quick 60-second GTD tutorial. You have an in tray. Anything and everything that's coming into either you externally, whether it's an email, whether it's an external source or a tasker, or whether it's something that comes up in your mind, hey, I need to do this tomorrow. Put it in your in tray. Whether it's putting it in on your online program, okay, just one card is the in tray of the thing that you need to do. I need to go and pick up milk later this afternoon. Put that in your in tray. So you've got all those different things in your in tray. And then after you've got your in tray filled, you can do what's called the 2-minute rule. As you're going through and filtering through your in tray, if it can take you less than 2 minutes to complete the task after you pull it out of your in tray, do the task right away. Just get it done, get it complete, put it in your done pile. That way you're getting rid of a lot of the things that could take more work to simply file than it would to just make it done right here and now. If it's longer than 2 minutes, if it's about a 10 to a 60-minute task, I put that card or that activity into a 10 to a 60-minute task folder, and I can archive that so I can be able to come back to it when I have another hour worth of time that I need to do something or I need to fill. I can go back to the 10 to 60-minute task filler box. And then projects. Maybe you've got a massive project that you're working on that's going to take weeks and weeks to do. You can put that into your projects folder, and then you can have subtasks of projects and things that you might do that may only take 10 minutes to fulfill a component of that project. You're organizing that into those different buckets. One of the coolest things that I utilize quite a bit is the GTD method of a waiting for list. So if you're waiting for a package to arrive from Amazon, if you're waiting for an email to come back, if you're waiting for somebody to text you back about something that's very important, you can put that in your waiting for list. That way you can go through while you're in your 10 to 15 hour time frame of being potentially bored. Check your waiting for list. What are you waiting for? Who can I ping to have them give me a follow-up on this, or should I go and check the mail in the mailbox to see if my package has arrived, right? So the waiting for list is huge. And then finally, your tickler file. This is one of those things that will kind of make you look like a superhuman in front of your peers, because if you have something maybe that you're checking in with a coworker 2 months from now, you put in your tickler file, hey, I want to check in with my coworker, let's say on January 1st about such and such topic. And then when you go and you check your tickler file about once a week, you'll see, oh, that's coming up. Let me put that in my weekly to-do, and I'm going to check in with that person at that point, right? So GTD, it's a massive effort to get yourself set up. I may do an entire video simply on GTD, but once you get the process set up, now when you have an hour's worth of time where you could be bored, you can go through all of your lists and make sure you're up to speed and ready to go and ready to move forward with any tasks that you have in front of you. So something to definitely keep in mind. What else can you do during this hour? You've got your GTD, it's all taken care of. You only did that for about 2 minutes. Clear that email. Go through. I can't tell you how cathartic it is to get all of your email cleared out and get to inbox zero. If you've never been there, it's a fantastic feeling. Don't feel bad about deleting things with reckless abandon. It's actually pretty easy to say, all right, I'm in a CC line of this email. I don't necessarily need to be engaged in it completely. I'm going to put it in a reference folder, or I'm going to delete it entirely. If they really need you, they're going to call you, right? At least from my perspective, from my professional life. So something to keep in mind. Clear that email, be ruthless about it, get that back down to a manageable level, and that will be a fantastic use of that time. Start on a project. You got one of those big projects, we talked about it. Move one of the subtasks of a project over into a 10-minute to 60-minute bucket and just start on it. pull out the information, start doing the research, open up the document for a Word or a Google Docs document and start writing, start setting up the headers, and then just write your first paragraph. At a bare minimum, you'll be a little bit farther ahead for the next time, but you might have the opportunity to start getting more deeply engaged with it. You might be more focused and single tasking on the specific effort, and you might get a lot more done than you expect. And your barrier to entry will now be reduced to continue finishing that project, right? So just give it a start. What other things can you do to be more productive? Brainstorm that side hustle. Are you looking to potentially expand upon your professional horizon? Are you looking to just get some side income? Are you looking to build upon what you currently know and actually create a full-fledged business on it? Start working on that. Just do some very small things. Find out which web page would be best to build out on. Start brainstorming some ideas. Brainstorm the content that you can put out on social media so you can start talking about your subject. Just start, again, with one of those big projects. How can you improve upon and start expanding your side hustle to make a bigger dent in that effort that you're working on? And then finally, there's two other things. You can read or you can even listen to podcasts. I absolutely love reading. My medium of choice for reading is Audible, audiobooks. It's easier for me to do laundry, to take care of the kids, to clean the kitchen, all of those different things while I've got an audiobook in my ear. So it's absolutely fantastic. I'm just going to give you a few of my favorites. I'm going to bookend them with my absolute favorites. But I'll put these in the descriptions. These are some fantastic books that I would highly recommend if you're interested in, filling some time for about 60 minutes or so. Some great ones. Meditations by Marcus Aurelius. He was the emperor of Rome back in the 100 AD time frame, and he wrote down his meditations, his thoughts on life and improving himself into his journal, which subsequently was found and published and has been published obviously for thousands of years. It is one of the most fantastic books to fundamentally learn how to be a better person and a better professional. Highly recommend Meditations by Marcus Aurelius. Presence by Amy Cuddy. Presence is a fantastic book talking about how you can broaden your presence and your scope and stand like a superhero. That way your body now projects that confidence externally. I talk a lot about presence and Amy Cuddy in a lot of my activities and on my podcasts here. So definitely a book, again, that I would highly recommend. 10% Happier by Dan Harris. Dan Harris was an ABC News anchor for many, many years, and he started meditating very publicly and talking about it. And this is a very good introduction to meditation and how meditation can fundamentally improve your life. Obstacle is the Way by Ryan Holiday. Ryan Holiday is one of the preeminent students of Marcus Aurelius and the Stoics, and his information that he's able to put together to bring us to today's day and age is absolutely fantastic. So Ryan Holiday, all of his books, but Obstacle is the Way is definitely one of the top ones. The Art of War by Sun Tzu. Again, one of those ancient texts where the ability to learn from some of the most prolific thinkers and actors in our history has been brought forth. Very short read, very easy to read, and very profound. And then finally, we talked about meditations. This is my favorite. To bookend that out, my absolute favorite book, I highly recommend you reading it at least once a year, How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. It's a fantastic book, very older in its prose, so it kind of brings you back to an older time frame, but the nuggets that you can glean out of that book are absolutely fantastic. So How to Win Friends and Influence People, one of the best books ever put together about how to improve upon your life and your interaction with people. And then podcasts. I'll quickly go through a lot of the podcasts that are in my ear almost every day. Alex Hormozy, The Game, his podcast is a lot about how to improve yourself from an entrepreneurial perspective. Ryan Holiday, The Daily Stoic, he has a fantastic podcast. Graham Cochran Show. Graham Cochran does a lot of things. Again, if you're kind of in the entrepreneurial space, you want to set yourself up for success with your side hustle, Graham Cochran is the way to go and start with there. The Way I Heard It. Mike Rowe, you remember Dirty Jobs? Mike Rowe, he has a fantastic podcast where he interviews some of the most interesting people around the country. Highly recommend that. And then, of course, obviously, Hyper Academy. You got to get the Hyper Academy All Access podcast or YouTube channel, like if you're watching it right now. Each week, every Thursday morning, we release something new and helpful to make sure that you have your mind right to tackle the next challenge ahead of you. All right, so you've gotten productive. Those are a lot of the different things and capabilities that are out there for you. The third component is exercising your mind. Now, there's a lot of different components to this. One, you can meditate. If you have 60 minutes, take 20 of those minutes and do a meditation. Meditation is absolutely fantastic. I talk about it all the time. But in a nutshell, meditation is the art of being in a calm room, setting a timer for whatever time you feel you have available to you, and taking a breath in, taking a breath out, and just focusing on your breath. Eyes open or closed, and when a distraction pulls you away from being focused on your breath, you note it, you acknowledge it, and you bring yourself back to the breath. That's it. That's meditation. But it trains your mind to know when your mind's been pulled somewhere else or to a different thing, and then refocus it back on the task at hand. It allows you to be more productive because your mind is more focused because it's had the exercise of meditation each day. So meditation is a fantastic one. Take a walk. Get outside, take a walk, even if it's cloudy and rainy like it is here today. If you can get some sunlight, get some just regular walking exercise, it's absolutely fantastic to help clear your mind and get you ready for the next task at hand when your next call comes up. And then finally, exercise. You got 60 minutes? Do an at-home exercise. Do a quick circuit workout. Do a Tabata. I love doing Tabatas, right? 20 seconds on, 10 seconds off. And you do maybe 4 different exercises in that with, say, 6 or 8 reps for each of those. So those are different capabilities, again, for 60 minutes that you can definitely do. So take the time off. You can just zone out if you like. You can get productive, or you can exercise your mind and thereby your body as well. Those are the 3 things that are options that are available to you. So what do I do? Again, I was a captain with the fire department for about 10 years prior to moving into the professional space. And when I'm sitting on a Thursday afternoon after lunch lull, how do I fill that time? Well, for me personally, I have a lot of the same techniques that we've talked about, right? So periodically, I will take a break and I'll just zone out on that YouTube, right? I want to get more ideas. I want to learn more from people like Alex Hormozy, from Ryan Holiday. They both have YouTube channels that are phenomenal. So I can both zone out and learn at the same time. That's the one great thing about YouTube in particular. You learn a lot from YouTube as opposed to something like Twitter, where a lot of times you're just mindlessly scrolling, right? TikTok is even more profound from that perspective. So I might do that. I like to absolutely, if I have the time, schedule that workout. So I'm going to walk to the workout. So I'll get my outside time, do the quick workout, and then I'm also going to meditate at the end of the workout. I always find it's beneficial. You've got the endorphins, you've got your heart rate up, to sit down and do a quick 10, 15, 20-minute meditation at the end of the workout. I just find a corner of the workout gym area. I find a rolling tube, and I just put my head back and I lay down, and people may think I look funny, but that's okay, right? And I set my timer, I do my meditation. So I get all of those out of the way, and then I can come back, and if I have time, I'm I'll clear all my lists for my GTD method. I'm going to tackle 1 or 2 things if I have time on my 10 to 60 minute list. And then I'll be ready to move forward with the next activity or action for the day. So a lot of different capabilities, a lot of things to think about. Let me know what works for you. I would love to hear more from you. Leave a comment in the description below if you're on YouTube. What do you do during a 1-hour lull where you're really bored? Do you take a nap? Do you zone out? What other productivity hacks and tools do you use? Would love to share that with the rest of the community here as well. And if you are interested and like this type of content, give me a thumbs up. And also subscribe to the channel if you want more content like this. As I said, every Thursday we'll give you a new drop of very quick, helpful advice about getting your mind ready to move forward in these challenging professional and personal times that we're in today. Don't forget, if you want a quick, free method for you to be able to reduce your stress, reduce your anxiety, pick up my free guide on mindfulness. It takes just about 5 minutes to read. Once you're done, it's 3 steps. It takes 10 seconds. It will change your game completely. hyperacademy.mykajabi.com/10 seconds. Hope you're having a great day, and we'll see you next week. Thank you.